Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, almost evening. I'm coming to you live here on my Facebook business page, Stef Coaching, to do this teaching on why sexual harassment and other forms of sexual aggression and misconduct from others shows up in your life. So I'm going to be uploading this video to YouTube, so if you're watching YouTube, make sure to check me out. Make sure to leave me a comment in the comments below, letting me know that you got this, what you took from this, how it maybe helped you, what you want more information from. This is regardless of whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, even watching the replay, feel free to still respond and have any questions that you may want to have and share with me so that I can potentially create another video around that. But and if you don't follow me on YouTube, go follow me on YouTube as well. It's Stef Coaching on YouTube as well. I have an English and a Spanish channel. Follow me on the English one because the Spanish one is not currently active. But anyway, I'm coming to you live to speak on this. So if this is the first time that you're tuning into me and you don't know who I am yet, my name is Stef. I'm a psychic business empowerment coach. I work with spiritual entrepreneurs to teach them how to manifest whatever they want in their personal lives and in their businesses. And I do this through helping my clients really have a greater understanding of what it is about their limiting beliefs, their fears, their repressed emotional energy that is keeping them out of alignment with getting the things that they want, right? So as I teach my clients how to release this energy, how to bring these things up to their awareness to release them, they bring themselves into alignment with what they do want and they manifest it and they get more of that. And that's really how simple it can be, okay? So I wanted to speak on this because I've had a very interesting journey as far as these kinds of instances go. So currently I live in Lima, Peru. This is where I was born. It's where I've been living for almost 10 years now. And I noticed while I grew up in the US and while I lived here in Peru, that in the US, I would specifically get harassed by a lot of Latino men and sometimes some black males. And when I came here to Peru, I would get harassed everywhere because everyone here, most of the people here are Latino, most of the people here are Peruvian. So I would get harassed a lot in the streets by men of all ages, okay? It didn't matter how old the person was or whether or not I had clothes that completely covered my body and you couldn't see anything. I would get really, really harassed. Sometimes by one man, sometimes by a group, like a little pack of men, and sometimes I would have men on bicycles. I've had this happen once where I had a man, an older gentleman, on a bicycle, literally cycle around me, a few times, 2 or 3 times he went around me, like checking me out. And I was like, what in the world? Why is this even happening? Right? So I have a lot of experience with being harassed on the streets by men. And I'm not trying to point fingers or anything, but generally in my experience, it has been men of color. And at least from what I see in my culture and in a lot of Latin culture, this is quite common, and in certain other cultures as well. I'm sure there are other places that we could pinpoint out, especially if you live in Europe. I'm sure there are certain groups of people that you feel do this kind of thing. But anyway, that aside, the point is that no matter the person's color, no matter the person's background or ethnicity or whatever it is, sexual harassment or sexual misconduct or aggression exists, and it exists in people of, whatever gender, color, size, whatever it is, okay? Because today I want to speak to how this happens for men and for women, okay? And so this has just been my experience. Now, what I have been, me personally, working through the last 6 or so months is my triggers around having men be disrespectful to me in the street or coming up to me and wanting to get my number and all this other stuff in a very obvious way. And I have been being triggered the last few months, and it has given me the opportunity to really go within and understand what that's really all about so that I could then release that. And so as I've gone on this journey of having all of this stuff come to my awareness, and I've been processing it and letting go of this energy within myself, a lot of things have shifted in my life. A lot of things, as far as being harassed on the street goes, have completely changed for me, and I'm manifesting amazing things. And so this is why I became very interested in really sharing about this with all of you who are watching, because maybe this can help you in some kind of way. I've noticed that as I have processed my own stuff, people on the street don't harass me anymore. They might still look at me, but they don't say anything to me. Or they might smile at me or say hi, but then that's it. They don't give me this creepy smile like, hey, good looking, what's happening with you, or any of that stuff. They don't catcall me on the streets or anything anymore. People either just smile, or they don't look at all, or they just stay quiet. But nobody is really messing with me now. And it's been absolutely amazing to experience that in my reality, because much of my life, from a developing teen to now, 30 years of age, has had me have to deal with these kinds of situations in my day-to-day, especially living in Latin America for almost 10 years. I get this kind of behavior. I used to get this kind of behavior all the time. And it was just something that I've done my best to navigate in many ways. In the past, I would just stay quiet because I thought I was better off being quiet and not saying anything, because maybe speaking up would get me into more trouble. And then there were some times where I would get so mad because I was just so sick and tired of it. I would flip out on people on the street and, just be like, what the crap is wrong with you? And I would, just blow up and lose it. And then there were other times where I would be like, what, just ignore it. Don't allow them to disturb your peace. Keep going. Let it go. This is just the way this is. And you know what? The only thing you can do right now is just simply not get triggered by it and not give them your power. And so I've had these different stages with how I've handled these kinds of circumstances in my journey. But what I've been doing ultimately the last few months has really made such a significant difference in that my reality is completely different now. And why I really wanted to share this video is because a couple of days ago, as I was going on my walk, I was walking past this construction site. Now, typically in construction sites, you only see men. And typically there's a group of men sitting outside the construction site waiting to go into work. And usually I have to walk through this group of men that are just standing around waiting to go in. In the past, doing this would make me really uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable, and feel really unsafe, and feel like I wanted to disappear. Because if there were a group of men on one side of the street, if I was walking on that side of the street, I would immediately go to the other side where there were no men, just so I wouldn't have to walk through those crowds of men, because it made me feel so uncomfortable. It made me feel like they were going to say something to me. They were maybe going to, come up to me in my face or try to touch me or these kinds of things. So I would try to avoid it and try to stay safe. That was my way of navigating it. But because I've been doing all of this, releasing of things that I've had to release, I recently manifested, as I was walking home from this construction site a couple days ago or something, that right outside the construction site, they have this thing laminated. It's like a notice that says, no man, woman, or child that is transiting past this space should be, basically what they said is be harassed or made uncomfortable in any way or something like that, right? And it was just I felt the construction company or whoever put this thing out there, their way of letting the workers know, hey, if you're out and about here, you cannot be harassing anyone, no matter who they are, man, woman, child, whoever, in any kind of way as you're here working, because this is very common here. You just walk past and someone will often sometimes say something to you. And so what they're basically letting their workers know is this behavior is no longer tolerated. And we're letting you know, and we're letting the people know. So if you violate these guidelines, then you're going to get it, because these people are going to come and tell us, and you already know you're not meant to be doing this. And that was, for me, seeing that sign was huge, huge and absolutely life-changing, because I've never seen anything like that before. And I was like, oh my God, I manifested this in my reality. I manifested a reality in which I'm being respected, and people are being asked to change their behavior and to respect me and not harass me and not make me feel uncomfortable or safe in the streets. And this is because of what I've been doing within myself to release these things, right? So the reason that sexual harassment or other forms of sexual aggression or misconduct exist in your life is because it's in your energy, plain and simple. On some level, it is in your energy, whether it's conscious or unconscious, but it's in your energy. And because it's in your energy, you are then manifesting it. You are then attracting it into your reality, okay? And that might be a hard pill for some people to swallow, because a lot of times we're like, why would I want to manifest people harassing me or, being hostile towards me sexually or doing these things to me? Why would I manifest that, right? And like I said, it might not be a conscious thing, but on some unconscious level, it is in your energy, and you are a match for that kind of experience, and so you attract it into your reality. And you have to, if you want to change things, that's the first step that you have to recognize is your personal responsibility over that manifestation on some level. You have to recognize that you are the creator of your reality. You're constantly creating from your energy, from the frequency that you're putting out, and so this on some level is in your energy, and that is why it is showing up in your experience. And that's okay, because when you own up to that, then you can shift that so that it doesn't continue to form part of your experience. So the reason that it is in your energy, though, is because of a few reasons potentially. Number one, it's because maybe on some level as a child you experienced some sexual abuse on some level through whatever experience you might have had with a family member, with a friend, with someone. You might have experienced some kind of sexual abuse where you were made to feel unsafe, and people taking advantage of you and touching you inappropriately or without your consent and so on. And so that is when it first started getting into your energy, okay? Number two, it could be that you had beliefs or fears programmed into you around your safety and how people treat you in this way. So I know for me, living here in Lima, it's a big city. There is a lot of crime, as in a lot of cities. And people here, I feel, live in fear all the time. And they're always expecting the worst. And so a lot of times here, people repeat this kind of thing, especially for me as a woman. They're like, oh, don't go out so late, come back early, don't walk alone, it's not safe for you, something could happen to you because you're a woman, because this can happen and this and that and so on and so forth. And so if you hear those kinds of comments repeated to you over and over and over again about how you're unsafe because maybe you're a woman, and how people might do this to you and that to you and so on and so forth, and they instill this fear in you that people are going to sexually violate you or be aggressive towards you and so on, then it's become a belief. It's become something that has been embedded in your energy, and so that's why you're manifesting it. This could also come from religion as well. Depending on what your religious beliefs are, there could be certain beliefs that through your teachings, the teachings that you received made you feel like someone could violate you and all of this negative stuff around it. So that could be one of the reasons as well why you're potentially manifesting it. Third thing is that it's part of a soul lesson that you came here to have for some reason, to learn something. So maybe you didn't experience the sexual abuse as a child. Maybe you didn't have people constantly drilling into your head how you were made to feel unsafe and so on. For your gender and people sexually abusing you and all this other stuff. Maybe you didn't have that, but it's still something that you're experiencing in your day-to-day because it's part of something bigger that you came here to learn. Now, I can go really in depth with this soul lesson stuff. This is stuff that I teach in my private programs, but essentially it's something that you decided before you incarnated here in your physical human body that you wanted to go through these experiences in order to learn something, in order to shift your perspective, in order to evolve and expand. And so that is why you're experiencing these kinds of things in your day-to-day. So this is potentially like why you're manifesting it, okay? And everyone's reasons for manifesting these kinds of things in their reality, it differs from person to person, and specifically like what your personal life experiences were that then allowed for you to have this in your energy, and having it in your energy, you're then manifesting it. But these are 3 of the most common ways in why it is manifesting for you. So let me speak a little bit on men, because there are men that experience sexual harassment or aggression or misconduct from other men, from other women, and this can be for a number of reasons. So it all depends on your gender and your preference and your background, okay? But I'm going to do my best here to speak to all of you and help you get some insight for your own specific situation. But if you are dealing with, if you're a heterosexual man that is being affected, in this way by a heterosexual woman, and this woman is being aggressive towards you, and she is wanting to force you into having sex or performing sexual acts, when you don't want to, or they come to you and they touch you inappropriately, and so on. If you feel like there are women being aggressive towards you, a lot of times it has to do with certain experiences, negative experiences that you could have had as a child with women either sexually abusing you or with women dominating you as a child, and making you feel powerless. And so if you experience this as a child, having women try to control you and put you down and dominate you and all this other stuff, you can quite often manifest women as an adult who are trying to do these things to you, okay? It can also be that you were growing up made to feel not man enough. There were maybe certain qualities that you had. Maybe you were not that typical, stereotypical manly man that did manly man things. Maybe you were more intuitive, more sensitive, more creative, more expressive, all of these different ways that are characteristically not manly. And so people would put you down and make you feel like you weren't a man, and they would like emasculate you and all this other stuff. And so if you're not feeling strong within yourself as a man, and feeling powerful, in this case, like, yeah, whether you're a heterosexual or homosexual man, you can, if you're not feeling strong in yourself as a man, and you don't feel like you can really set those boundaries or have people respect you, then a lot of times you will manifest a partner or people of the opposite sex or the same sex, whoever, that are doing these things to you because you don't feel strong in yourself, and you were made to feel emasculated, and so you attract people who continue to make you feel this way. Does that make sense on some level? So this is why it might be manifesting for some of you that fall under this category, okay? Now, one of the main reasons, regardless of why you may be manifesting this, as I explained earlier, it could be the sexual abuse or trauma, it could be the deep limiting beliefs and fears you were programmed with, it could be part of a soul lesson that you came here to learn, or other different factors. These are just 3 typical ones I was called to share with you all today. But I don't know what's going on outside the window. But regardless, hey Brandy, of what it was about your life or your upbringing or your soul lessons that are causing you to experience this today, one of the biggest reasons that you're experiencing these kinds of behaviors from other people is because deep down inside, on some level, you feel powerless, you feel weak, you feel vulnerable, you feel helpless, unsafe, unprotected, you feel like people don't respect your boundaries, and emasculated in some kind of way if you're a man. Okay? And so because you're holding in within yourself this energy of I'm helpless, I'm weak, I'm unsafe, I can't protect myself, people don't respect my boundaries, they walk all over me, because you are within yourself vibrating at this level within, these things, you're going to attract into your situation people who do these kinds of things to you to make you continue to feel unsafe, powerless, like people can't respect your boundaries, vulnerable, all these kinds of things. You're attracting that on some level. And until you do your part to release these beliefs and these fears and this emotional energy that you hold within yourself that makes you feel all of these different things, powerless, weak, vulnerable, all these different things, until you do your part to release that energy, you're still going to continue to be a match for those kinds of experiences. But when you go within and you shift these things within yourself to release that sensation or that feeling of being powerless and vulnerable and all this other stuff, when you do your part to release those things and then you start feeling empowered, you start feeling like you can handle yourself, you know, that you can, it's not being aggressive towards people or like whatever, but that you can handle yourself. Okay, if someone comes up to you and tries to do something to you, you got this. That's what I'm talking about. You know, you have to shift this within yourself. You have to feel strong within yourself. You have to feel safe within yourself. You have to feel this deep level of, I got this. I can take care of myself. I can handle myself. No one can make me feel unsafe. I'm empowered. I'm not giving them my power. And as you feel this within yourself and you shift your frequency, then those experiences are going to shift out. Then people are not going to treat you this way anymore because you are at a different vibrational frequency. So you're not going to manifest the expression or that physical, no, you're not going to manifest those kinds of experiences any longer because you're no longer a match. Okay? This is so true. So as I shared at the very beginning of the video, maybe you're joining late, you know, as I have taken these last few months to work through my man issues, and for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know, I've been sharing all about this, how in January I manifested a person who was narcissistic, manipulative, a pathological liar. What's the other word for it? There's like a bunch of things. This person was crazy. I manifested that person, and I owned up to that. I assumed my personal responsibility over that, and I recognized that this person was supporting me and bringing to my awareness things I needed to release. So I have been releasing all of these things within myself for the last 6 months or so, you know, as I've worked through these things for myself. And as I've released this energy and I've released this feeling within myself that I wasn't safe and that I needed to protect myself from men, and that, you know, men were trying to hurt me or they were doing this and that. And as I've learned to release these things and let these things go and really just sit strong in who I am and be like, you know what, I'm empowered and no man can come up in here and make me feel unsafe or scared or whatever. I stand strong in who I am. I got this. And as I've shifted my energy, everything around me shifts. And that's why I'm not getting harassed anymore on the streets. That's why I recently manifested that sign from that construction site that I mentioned earlier, where, you know, they're telling their workers and people that are walking by that their workers cannot make anyone walking by feel unsafe and disrespected and all this other stuff. That's what I've manifested into my reality, because I'm holding a higher frequency and I'm not allowing, you know, this frequency of I'm unsafe and weak and helpless and vulnerable and men overstep my boundaries and they do this to me and that. I'm not holding that frequency anymore. And so because I'm not holding that frequency anymore, I'm having a different experience of men, and I'm not being disrespected or harassed anymore or made to feel unsafe anymore. I walk through those group of men now every morning when I go walking, and I just walk through them and I just mind my business and they don't say anything to me. And I'm like, yep, I don't feel unsafe anymore. Because in the past, when I used to walk past these men, I literally felt like I just wanted to curl up in a ball and be invisible. I didn't want them to see me. But as I stepped into my power, I just walked through them and I'm like, whatever, I just do my thing and nobody messes with me, right? And this is true because there's a millionaire coach as well that I follow, and this woman had been physically abused by her ex-partner, had multiple instances in which this person was almost kidnapped and almost raped and all of this other stuff, right? This person on a regular basis manifested being sexually assaulted, attacked in some kind of way throughout most of their life experience. Now, because this person then recognized that it was because they had experienced some sexual trauma when they were younger that they didn't remember, and they did their part to release all of that, release that energy, let that go, and to start standing strong in who they are, and so on and so forth, and they shifted their frequency, they no longer continue to attract those kinds of experiences. Because you only attract what you're a match for, okay? You only attract what you're a match for. And so this is what I really wanted to share with all of you today who are having this kind of experience with other people, whether you're heterosexual or homosexual or whatever it is, if people are overstepping their boundaries with you in this way, it's because on some level you are attracting it. And the first step to being able to shift that is you recognizing that there's something within you that is calling in those kinds of experiences. So what is it? Look into that. Is it because you had some kind of sexual abuse as a child? If it is, you need to clear that. Is it because people kept programming into your head and drilling you with these beliefs that you're not safe, or that this is how women get treated, or how men are supposed to be, or how, you know, it's supposed to be for you and you're supposed to feel unsafe and that people can rape you at any moment or do these things to you at any moment? Is that what it is? Because if that's what it is, you got to clear those beliefs. Or is it because maybe you came here to learn certain lessons, soul lessons, to have a greater understanding of things and to evolve and to learn certain things that you came here to learn? And if it is, learn those lessons so that you can shift out of these situations more easily and continue to move forward with your journey with much more ease and grace, right? And recognize, do you feel when you are, I live in a loud city, when you are having these kinds of experiences, or you are approaching a group of people that you feel unsafe around, that you think are going to disrespect you or to overstep your boundaries and so on with their sexual aggression, when you're approaching these people, when you're around these people and so on, how do you feel? Do you feel powerless? Do you feel unsafe? Do you feel like they're going to overstep your boundaries and you can't do anything about it? Do you feel emasculated if you're a man? Do you feel vulnerable? Do you feel helpless? What do you feel? Because if that's what you're feeling, that's why you're attracting it. And you have to do your part to shift that in order to no longer attract those kinds of experiences. Okay? Because it really is that simple. You do your part and it will all shift. And so this is what it is. All right? Does anyone have any questions that are watching me on Facebook? Let me know if you have any questions for your specific situation. I'm happy to answer anything you might want to know about this. Otherwise, I'm done with this video. I hope that it has helped you greatly. If you want to know how to do this kind of energy shifting, and you want to bring balance into your relationships in this case, because this is a relationship kind of issue, and really feel empowered within yourself and feel like you're no longer helpless to these kinds of external situations or circumstances, if you want to learn more about how to do this, I really invite you to join me in my Remembering Who You Are 8-week group coaching program. It's a very powerful program that really teaches you how to get this kind of information and understand why you're manifesting that specifically in your reality and what you specifically need to do about that to no longer attract those kinds of situations in your life. It's a very powerful program that really helps you to deliberately create whatever you want in every area of your life. So when you are aware that there are imbalances in your life, there are things that you're not happy with, there are things that make you feel powerless or unsafe or whatever it is, the information that you're going to learn in this program is going to help you to shift that so that you can start getting more of what you do want. So in this case, when it comes to sexual harassment, you're going to learn what you need to learn to no longer attract those kinds of experiences, how to become empowered within yourself, how to start feeling safe within yourself, what soul lessons you came here to learn, and what you need to shift in your perspective in order to learn them, and so on and so forth. And that's what we're going to be addressing, right? Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video on, I think this is going to be on my personal page, and this video is going to be all around, let me see if I can find the title for it very quickly. It's around why you allow other people, circumstances, or environments to affect how you feel or to drain your energy, okay? So this is what I'm going to be speaking on, I believe, tomorrow on my personal page, if you follow me on my personal page. And check that out, because this all has to do with you stepping into your power and being more of who you truly are, and recognizing that you don't have to feel helpless to people, trying to do these things to you. You can shift that. You can shift it so that you no longer attract it. You can shift it so that people no longer drain you of your energy, and so on and so forth, right? And if you want support with that, join me in my program. Ask me about the details. Ask me about payment plans. It's super affordable, and it's absolutely life-changing. This program is seriously worth over $4,000. It'll change your life forever. These are teachings that you're going to be able to use over and over and over again in every area of your life. So if it interests you, reach out to me. Ashmita, how do people, first of all, hey Ashmita, how are you? Okay, awesome. How do people who get raped and murdered attract that into their lives? Is that part of a person's soul lesson? I was just thinking about this a few moments ago. Then I saw you live and you're talking about it, so I wanted to go on and ask someone about it. Yeah, so a lot of times this has to do with soul lessons. That's the kind of stuff I cover in my Remembering Who You Are program. But it does have to do with soul lessons a lot of times, and certain things that you came here to experience and to do, and that's why you've manifested those kinds of very difficult kind of experiences in your life situation. Because yeah, people a lot of times they're like, why would anyone want to manifest this kind of really horrific situation? Because there's lots of horrific situations when it comes to you know, being abused sexually. We've heard about the numbers and numbers of things on the news and stuff, crazy stuff that happens in the world, you know. But there's, for those really big things, a lot of times it is a big soul lesson that you came here to learn for yourself, and quite often for other people, and through your experience. So that I can't really explain in this one video, because it takes a greater understanding, and that's what I cover in my Remembering Who You Are program, around why really horrible things happen in the world to people. So yeah. I am on CST for sure. Great video. Thank you, Brandy. Awesome. I will tag you in that video when I do it live. Make sure to comment. I'll tag you in that video, in the thing, and I'll remember this way, because otherwise I'll forget. So anyway, if nobody else has any questions, I do want to mention something, actually, because there is someone that I know, so I don't know if he'll watch this, but there is someone I know whose partner was wanting to force them to be intimate when they didn't want to. And they would try to, like, literally throw themselves on this person over and over and over again, because a lot of times with sexual abuse or sexual harassment or sexual misconduct, typically we think of, you know, men abusing or harassing women, but it does happen to men as well. And so when this person openly and vulnerably shared this with me, I was surprised, because I had never personally heard of that. And the reason that sometimes these kinds of things show up in your partner, if your partner is trying to force themselves on you and you're, you know, I don't even know if it really matters if it's a heterosexual or gay man. I don't really think so. But for this person's heterosexual. And if you are having these kinds of experiences, it's a lot of times, you know, an opportunity for you to dig into, what are they making you feel? What are they bringing up for you when they're trying to violate you, you know, and they're trying to do things to you without your consent? What is that bringing up for you? Regardless of, you know, whoever's doing this to you, man, woman, if you're a woman or man, whatever, dig into that and see what that's bringing up for you, okay? Because that's exactly the stuff that you need to clear and release in order to not attract that version of your partner into your life. Because people are just reacting to your energy. It's kind of like, how do I explain it? You have your own energy field around you, and you're in your little bubble, and someone else is in their little bubble, and your bubble is emitting a kind of energy frequency, and when your bubble touches their bubble, it's like you activate something in them. And so if you have certain things in your frequency that then activate that version of them, then that's what you're going to get. That's the version of them that you're going to get, this person who is trying to do these things to you against your will, without your consent. So it's an opportunity to look within and see what's really going on within yourself that you need to release and clear in order to no longer attract that version of them. And a lot of times their behaviors do change. Can't promise that. Can't promise that this will magically fix your relationship. But a lot of times their behaviors will change because you've adjusted your energy, and so you get a different expression of them. Okay? So if that helps for whoever needed it. I felt like I needed to add that at the end. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you. Make sure to like and follow this page if you haven't already liked and followed it yet. Make sure to share this video with any friends that you feel would really benefit from this information, would support them on their journeys, because that's my whole intention for helping people really, you know, receive these teachings. Because as I shared at the beginning of the video, as I've done this stuff within myself and I've released a lot of stuff, I'm now getting to experience a different reality where I don't feel unsafe anymore, and people, men especially, are respecting me, and it feels amazing. I feel so much freer in my life. I don't feel scared and insecure anymore and all this other stuff anymore like I used to, and it's really helped me to feel like I'm living life more fully. as I'm walking about in my day-to-day. I'm really just enjoying it more, and it's so liberating. So if you feel like someone else could really benefit from this information, please share the video with them, help them out, help them have this in their awareness, and let them do what they need to do with that information. If you enjoy these teachings, remember tomorrow I'm doing a teaching on my personal page on whatever I said earlier about how you allow external circumstances to affect you or drain your energy. So make sure to check out that video tomorrow on my personal page. And remember, I do videos on YouTube as well every Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Live videos. So that's basically it. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate all of you. Have an amazing have an amazing evening. It's a perfect way to explain that. Well, thank you, Divine Timing. Awesome. You're so welcome, hun. All right. I send you all so much love. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate every single one of you. Take care. Bye.